Hey, I like your shirt. Oh, you're... like dudes. Yeah, I like dudes. Okay. Wait, no, that's not what I meant. And that, my friends, is how about 90% of my daily conversations go. While you might think that this is me being socially awkward, it's actually my insanely nonchalant personality that normies just can't comprehend. I could say that my inability to talk to people like a functional human being is just my lifestyle of silent aura farming, but the truth is I rarely ever touch grass or go out, so yeah, that's probably why I can't hold a normal conversation. You kinda have to actually be around people in order to communicate with them properly. So this is 100% my fault, but I am 100% going to complain about it like it isn't. To be honest, I feel like my upbringing has had some kind of play in this. I do think my parents raised me a little sheltered, which is why I grew up shy and socially awkward. Like, as a kid, of course, I'd go with my family to visit family friends and relatives, and I had friends at school, but the first time I ever went to a school friend's house was when I was 11. I'm 18 now, and I've never even slept over at a friend's house. These days, I can't even introduce myself to hold a proper conversation without second guessing every line I'm about to say next and worrying about what the person I'm talking to will think about me. I'm always concerning myself over what the right thing is to say. And then I just choose not to speak at all instead of saying something stupid and looking like an absolute buffoon. And you know what makes things worse? I have a skin condition called hyperhidrosis that makes my hands really sweaty. Like, really sweaty. It only adds to my anxiety when I can't dap someone up or shake their hand from the fear of them thinking that I'm gross. I genuinely think that if the world was in a perpetual drought, you could force me to converse with a couple of women and I would produce literal water bodies non-stop. I'll probably make a full video on it at some point, but this condition is the sole cause of all my social insecurities. No one wants to be touched by a wet, dripping hand. Heck, no one even wants to see that. There are so many times I've wanted to introduce myself, so many times I've wanted to join the chat, so many times I've wanted to make a move on the person I'm interested in, but every single time I have to hold myself back because I am a disgusting, sweaty mess. My dad always did say to me that the first impression is the best impression. It doesn't help when the first impression I make is that I'm a weirdo who just lingers in the background and watches everyone else. And you know what's funny? As I'm writing this script, I'm sitting in my school's senior common room in my own little corner just typing away, while all my friends are over on the other side playing a game together. My mate literally just peered over at my laptop and I had to awkwardly pull it away trying not to reveal the text. This is also my best friend and we tell each other everything, so I feel super guilty right now. I'm sorry bro, but I'm way too scared to tell anyone about this channel because I know I'm gonna get clowned for it. Since I couldn't talk to people in real life, in middle school I made it my mission to become the ultimate Discord sweet talker. My Discord game back in 8th grade was absolutely unmatched. I would be rizzing up shorties left and right, but then when I actually got to school, I wouldn't say a word to them. We would walk past each other in the hallways like we were complete strangers, and sometimes I would deliberately start talking to a friend or look the other way to avoid conversation with them. I know, I'm a degenerate loser. If I could go back in time, I'd dropkick 14-year-old me for just being such an idiot. You can say all you want, but when you're someone like me, you'd rather prevent having a conversation altogether than to try and fail miserably. But I do have to admit that I become a different person when I'm around my friends. Thank goodness I was able to meet these guys back when we were all cringy little idiots who would spam Fortnite emotes in real life instead of talking to each other. Without them, I am positive that I would be a shut-in NEET with absolutely no life at all. I don't know why, but I actually feel somewhat confident talking to others when I have one of my close mates with me. It's like my fear of being judged just fully disappears because I have someone with me who I know has already accepted me for the freak that I am. And for that reason, I am eternally grateful for every one of my friends for putting up with me for all these years. However, there are a lot of occasions where I have felt like internally combusting because of the social discomfort of either talking to someone new or being in a crowd of people. But there are certain experiences that I couldn't ever forget. It was my birthday back around the start of May, and I made the grave mistake of telling one of my more extroverted friends about it. That morning I was studying in the senior common room because I had spare periods with no classes, and there were about 5 or 6 girls also there at a different table. Unfortunately, in that group was my friend, and she decided to tell all her gal pals that it was my birthday, and despite my adamant refusal, they all started singing happy birthday for me. I will admit, the attention did make me a bit happy, since I only expected a few wishes from my close mates, but it's the series of events that followed that just made me wither away inside. Next to our common room is the senior school library, and the door that separates the two rooms decided to be wide open just for today. So obviously the people in the library hear the commotion in the common room and come inside to see what's happening. They discover that it's my birthday, and now the whole crowd of like 10 girls is singing me happy birthday. And I don't want to sound like some weirdo who gets excited when there's females involved. You've got to understand, this is the demographic of the human species that I am deathly afraid of. Speaking to even one is like risking my life. But now I have a small crowd of them singing me their birthday wishes. As happy as I was also very uncomfortable, just trying to find an empty area in the room to awkwardly stare at until they were done. But guess what happens after that? I think to myself, oh great, they're done. Time to finally enjoy some peace and quiet doing my work. No, the librarian also hears it's my birthday and decides to call me out to the library. She then proceeds to play the happy birthday tune on the library loudspeaker, and the people from the library all sing again, as I awkwardly stand there with my smile constantly shifting between joy and utter embarrassment. Then during lunch, I was sitting in a group with some friends and some other girls. The reason why I separate the two is because I actively avoid talking to women, so much so that I think only 2 individuals from the entire female cohort would consider me their friend. Anyway, they all sing me happy birthday. What a surprise there. And then, in my maths class, the same friend from before gets the whole class to sing for me as well. And the people in this class are mostly the same ones that sang happy birthday for me at the start of the day. By the end of the school day, my social interaction battery was genuinely so fried that I just went home and hid in my room until the next morning. And I'd really like to emphasize once more that I turn into a robot when it comes to conversing with females. So you can probably imagine that I was on the verge of short-circuiting trying to maintain a 1v4 conversation for a good half hour at our year 12 formal. If you didn't know, formal is Australia's version of prom, by the way. To make the situation 10 times worse, one of these 4 girls was my date. So it was extra important that I didn't mess it up. Hold on a minute, how does a bumbling, fumbling buffoon like me score himself a formal date? Well, I suppose that story probably deserves its own video. But while you wait for me to post that, you can watch this one instead. I heard it's really good.